So we're on limb 1 and we're looking at the yamas, and there are 5 yamas. We've pulled out one of the best books for the first 2 limbs of yoga that I know out there, The Yamas and the Niyamas by Deborah Adele. Please purchase it. Like, this is a very used book for years and years now. And then I'm also using Mukunda Styles, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, to dive in a little bit deeper. Back in the day, my teacher said, Kalin, the sutras, and I was always like, no, they're stupid. They're not stupid. I just didn't really put any energy into them. And since I've been teaching teacher trainings, I am like, oh my gosh, the sutras. So last video, we looked at the yamas as a whole, and here we're going to break down each yama. We're not spending a lot of time on each one, but we're going to break them down a little bit more. And again, the yamas and the niyamas will help you actually go through each of the yamas and each of the niyamas, really diving in, journaling, looking deeper. So what are the 5 yamas? Good question. We have Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, and Aparigraha. Ahimsa generally translates to nonviolence, Satya to truthfulness, Asteya to non-stealing, Brahmacharya to non-excess or moderation, and Aparigraha as non-possessiveness. Let's see what the sutras have to say about the first limb, Ahimsa, which is nonviolence, which really looks at not just nonviolence to other people, also nonviolence to self, nonviolence to animals. This is why most yogis have a vegetarian diet. Sutra 2.35 says, by abiding in nonviolence, one's presence creates an atmosphere in which hostility ceases. That means that anyone around you is not even in the vibe of being violent because you don't exude that at all. When we look at what Deborah Adele says, there's a lot here. It's about self-love and the ability to stay courageous and balanced, nonviolence in dealing with powerlessness and things that just come and go that you really can't control. There's more about being kind to others and then being kind to self. And one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from this book is that worry is a way that violence gets masked as caring. And this one hit me so deep as a parent because I always worried about my kids. And when I read this, and I reread it all the time, it's a brilliant reminder of something I also heard in Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth. He said, you had your children, but they're not yours. In the awakening process, that means that you're here to help guide them to grow up, to be emotionally intelligent, to hopefully abide by the 8 limbs of yoga, yet they're not your possession. And their success has really nothing to do with you, that they are their own sovereign beings that have opportunity to take their life any way that they do. And, as young children, we have the opportunity to teach them to have discernment in that. So I'm going to read straight from the book. It says, worry is another way that violence gets masked as caring. Worry is a lack of faith in the other and cannot exist simultaneously with love. Either we have faith in the other person to do their best or we don't. Worry says, I don't trust you to do your life right. Worry comes from a place of arrogance that I know better what should be happening in your life. Worry says, I don't trust your journey or your answers or your timing. Worry is fear that hasn't grown up yet, and it is a misuse of our imagination. We both devalue and insult others when we worry about them. The other place where I see this hard for people to consume is when it is a daughter and their mother is very involved in their life. And she's always wanting to know what's going on because I worry about you, I worry about you, I worry about you. This is a way to control. And so when someone has a codependent relationship with their mom and their mom's constantly worrying about them, then they usually won't take this as easily as someone that's open to recognizing, like, oh, I need to have a boundary, either with myself or with my parent. And she goes on to say, I'd like to discern the difference between help and support. For me, help carries the connotation that I'm more skilled at life's decisions and challenges than the other person is. Help is a one up on the other person, whereas support meets the other person on an equal playing ground with equal ability. I don't help people, I support them. And I find that the best way I can do that is through experience. So I will experience something, and then I'm able to hold space for someone to experience that themselves, knowing that there is a journey and that they themselves can make it through it. So have a look at your own life and the way that you're masking violence. Develop compassion for yourself and for others, and find a way to bring this into your world, because the 1.1 is where we start. Actually, this is what like Jainism is all about. Jainism is a religion. It comes from India, and it's all about ahimsa. It's not even beyond that. In fact, extreme Jainism, you will see people that like sweep before they walk so they won't even hurt a dust mite. So up to you. If you want to go a little bit deeper with this lesson, I want you to spend the next week doing something courageous, doing something that you're not really comfortable doing, or maybe even something you haven't done before, every single day for the next 7 days. And this will help you to embody balance, to calm your nervous system, because when you try something different, on the other side of it, maybe there's success, maybe there's not, and that's fine. Neither of those are ever final. But what it shows you is you didn't die. You tried something new and you didn't die. Instead of allowing that voice to shut you down, to tell you, no, don't go live on Instagram because everybody will hate you, or whatever it is that that voice is saying. It also offers you the opportunity to listen to the voice and to start to find ways that you yourself are being incredibly unkind to yourself, and then choose different. All right, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.